Are you a short-term rental host who is freaking out because you are not booked solid through January and February, especially if this is your first year in the game? If so, you've come to the right place, because I'm going to tell you guys why January and February are typically very slow months for short-term rentals, and what you can do during this time, what you should be doing during this time, so that you can maximize your revenue and your occupancy throughout the rest of the year. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Airbnb ABCs. I'm super happy to have you guys here. In January and February, I see this same thing happening every single year. Now, I've been in real estate. I've been in rentals since 2013, so we've had 11 years of experience there, and I've been in the short-term rental game. I believe this is my third year doing this, and in both of those fields, I have always noticed that things are cyclical, just like in nearly every single business. In your long-term rentals, you have moving season, which is when school time ends and people are thinking about moving during the warm weather months. You have peak buying season for home buyers that starts in the spring. And for short-term rentals, you typically have some sort of seasonality or cyclical nature for whatever market you're in. And for the most part, unless you are in an area that specializes in winter sports, like a ski resort, like Vail type of thing, January and February are probably going to be relatively slow months. They are for us in the Smokies. I know that the other markets that I'm familiar with in beach markets in Florida are typically dead in January and February, and even in some of those places, November and December. And that is just something that happens every year. And something else that happens every year is folks start freaking out when their calendars that have been filled since basically March of the previous year all of a sudden dry up once the holidays are over. They get those big checks during Christmas and New Year's, and then January comes and it's just like everything hits the brakes. The real simple explanation for this, if you guys don't want to watch the rest of this video, is that people simply are not traveling in January and February. And I know that someone's going to be on here in the comments and be like, well, I tell you what, I know several people who travel in January and February, or there's snowbirds in the southern tip of Florida, and that is one geographical location. And there are people who travel at all times of the year. But for the vast majority of the folks, they have just blown their entire budget on Christmas. They may have used all of their vacation days. And even if they just got their days, they may be saving them up for their spring break travel, which is just around the corner, for their summer vacations, for their fall break, or their winter vacations, whatever they're going to be doing. January and February are just not great times for people to go traveling with them having blown all of their money. But that doesn't mean that this isn't a huge opportunity for you, even though this is a much lower part of the year. There are some things that you guys can do. There are some stuff that you can get ahead of so that you can use this point in time to make sure that the rest of your year is as profitable as possible. What I'm going to show you guys first is just with the listings that I have, with the type of places that I have, we are typically very well booked. We typically book at very high prices. And just to give you an example of what is going on right now with our bookings, we are in January 29th, 2024. So if you're looking at this years later, it's probably going to be about the same. We are on a Monday, and our cabins that are 4.9 x and higher, which is all of our cabins on Airbnb and VRBO. We have them right now. Some of them are down to $65 a night, $98 a night. I'll put a screenshot of this on the screen. We basically cannot give away the weekdays. And so when you guys are looking at your calendars and you can't figure out why the weekdays aren't filling in, it's because there just isn't enough demand for those days. It's just a fact of nature. And so if you do get a booking, and you'll get some weekday bookings. It's just a fact that someone landed on your place by luck or by accident, and it probably has nothing to do with how well you've optimized it, how well your pictures are, how well your listing is, but those things should definitely be on point. So if that person does scroll past your place, they stop and they click on it. When you are in this January, February time frame, there are three things that you need to be concerned with more than anything. One is filling your weekends. Your weekends, if you have a good place, especially in the Smokies market where we are, they should fill. There is a select demographic of people that like coming down here this time of year. The crowds are lower. The prices are much cheaper. Really, the views are better because a lot of the leaves fall off the trees. So a lot of cabins have wintertime seasonal views, and it's just really a low-key type of place, especially folks that just want to hunker down in the cabin and just have themselves a little mountain retreat. January and February are where it's at. You guys need to think about your housekeepers. I try to keep as many bookings coming in. That's why I let my prices slip down to $65 a night, to $98 a night. There's some of you guys out there like, I'm not going below $150 a night, or however much it is that you want to make a night, and that's your prerogative. It's your business to run. There is a little bit of a risk with the lower priced bookings that you could bring in problem people, but really over the course of my 3 years or so, I've only seen a slight increase in bad guests with lower rates. There is a correlation, but it's not as large as you would think. But your cleaners out there are relying on you to continue to get bookings in, some of the other partners that you have, your handy people and such, so that they can put food on their tables as well. And so I always try to keep that in mind, is that not only am I responsible for the mortgage payment and putting money in my pockets, but I also have a responsibility to folks who work for me, especially if you are working with independent contractors like I am, that only have several cabins, not 300 or 400 cabins, where they can space that out over a longer period of time. Always be mindful of your team and be good to them so that they will continue to give you excellent service. The other thing that you have to do during this time period is you have to get your maintenance done. You have to get any upgrades done that you want to do to your places in the January and February months, so that you can not have breakdowns and be doing work during your peak months, during your Junes, Julys, August, Christmas time. Your HVAC's not going out. You're not losing these multi-$1,000 bookings versus these just, a couple $100 bookings. We are actually going to our places. I blocked out all the weekdays. I believe it's 1 or 2 weeks from now. It's on February the 6th when we're going out. It looks like it's actually next week. Things really sneak up on you fast. Life comes at you fast, as they say. And we are going to take care of a bunch of stuff for this new rental inspection program that they are doing in the Gatlinburg, Sevierville area. And then we're going to also be addressing any other little minor things that come along. And one of our places, I've had a suspicion that has an HVAC problem, where we've added refrigerant to a system, so it obviously has a leak. We want to get that taken care of now in February, so that when our July bookings are in there and it's 1,000 degrees, that we're not having the unit freeze up, having to send out technicians, possibly give refunds. And to block off an entire week for 3 of our cabins, if you're looking at $100, $65 a night. What are we losing out on there? $900, $800, $1,000, something like that. We will easily be able to make up that income in the coming months. And when you guys are looking to try to fill January and February, the way that you guys need to go about doing that is you need to kind of get ahead of the game. When you are getting into September, October, November of 2024, of every single year, but we can't go back in time, unfortunately, or else I'd buy Google stock and probably wouldn't be doing this at all, just live off the returns from that. You want to start pricing your places aggressively, so you're picking up those bookings in September, October, November for January and February. And then there's always the chance that you are going to be able to pick up a booking, here and there. People, all the time spontaneously like, let's go, and they can find your place, and it's a great place, and you are going to give that person probably a very excellent experience. If you guys have been following me, you've got the top tier cabins. They're very well done, and you're going to be able to give somebody a vacation at a tremendous value, which is going to work out. It's going to be a win-win-win. You're going to get some money, which is better than none money. They're going to have a great vacation in a great place, and they're going to feel like they got a good value out of it, and you're going to keep your cleaners and their kids fed by keeping money on their table. The biggest thing that you guys need to know is that when you roll into January and February and the bookings start rolling off, and you're not getting hot and heavy bookings every day for 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, whatever it is that your place rents for in the peak season, it is going to change. Towards the beginning, middle of February, you are going to start seeing the spring break bookings roll in. It's going to start picking up for March and April. And if you guys have been at the beach and you've been dead since November, people are going to start booking their spring breaks, their summer vacations. Stuff is going to pick up. So make sure that your places are ready by getting the maintenance and the upgrades done that you want to do now, so that you're not doing those costly things at peak times when all the contractors are all tied up and they are going to be charging peak rates, because they are everywhere working on air conditioning in the South when it is 100 degrees with 98% humidity. So guys, if this helps you out at all, give me a big thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button down below if you haven't subscribed yet to this channel. We talk all things short-term rentals, Airbnbs, VRBOs, direct bookings, everything, the trials and tribulations. There's all sorts of good material in the links that are on the screens, including the types of cabins that we buy, how we manage from afar, etc., etc. I appreciate appreciate you guys watching today, and I'll see you in the next one.